So why filming up this glam? I actually had issues filming up this glam. Like the light setup, everything was not giving. But I just had to just film up the glam because why not? There's something I need to advise you all about the shoot of a thing. It's not every time you do a glam and it come out nice. It's not every time you do a shoot and it come out nice. Most times once the shoot is too bad, I advise you don't post it. Okay? So I went in with brow tema to groom her brows. At first, I was loving the shape of the brows I was creating, but at the long run, it wasn't really giving what I wanted. So I advise if you're grooming the brows, just go in with your normal edge control to groom the brows, because using normal brow tamer to groom the brows, most times, since it doesn't really have that very high force slicking gel, it doesn't really give what it's supposed to give. So because she has a full brow and she insists that her brows to stay be full, I just went in with a little and removing excess. Mind you, this is not a model. This is a very long time friend of mine. It's been a while she came into Port Harcourt. So immediately she told me she was around, I needed to do something. That's why we are not able to do a frontal hair. So I just had to look for a hairstylist to repack her hair. So for the face, I cleaned up the face using my face micellar cleansing water and face wipes. After that, I went in with my sweat block to apply on the brows. After that, I'll be going in with my moisturizer. The moisturizer, you need to focus the moisturizer under the eyes, okay? I had to add more because why not? It's essential, it's needed. So I had to add more. Avoid primer under the eyes, put more moisturizer under the eyes. Now for my vitamin C, I went in with vitamin C from Hyper Beauty Cosmetics. You can use any other brand, but this one just suits in well for me. Especially something that is not so overrated and all of that. Now for the lips, I went in with Nia lip moisturizer to moisturize the lips appropriately. After that, I spray the face using my setting spray. Now for the foundation, I really don't have a shade of foundation. You can see that the foundation is yellow, while her skin tanned down a little. So I'll be applying this foundation and then using a powder from my powder palette to blend it down. Okay, so I'm still blending and blending and blending. One trick you should know is that blending is the key to a flawless glam. Don't miss that part. After that, I'll be going in with a cream blush. I already told you that I use my lipstick as my blush. When it comes to this makeup of a thing, I really don't like buying too much. If I know that, okay, if I buy this, I can use it and provide for this, I just keep on using that until it's exhausted. So that is what I do in order to make money from makeup. Because if you keep buying and buying and you don't make your money, you would lose. After that, I went with my concealer. The concealer I'm using is from Davila's palette. I got this palette as a PR. I didn't buy it. I advertised their brand. Of a truth, their brand is good. Their brand is very, 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 very nice. Okay, but I noticed that you cannot use this on the brows. It's suitable for the skin. So that is it. Now to blend, I went in with my very light fluffy brush to blend. That's what I used in blending. So while blending, I advise you don't apply too much pressure. Okay, Do not apply too much pressure while blending. Always take your time to blend, like I explained earlier on. Take your time to blend. So after that, I went in with powder. The powder I went in with is setting powder from Gentle Dove. But before then, I applied powder on the face from my powder palette. Just a little, not too much, but a powder that looks like her skin tone. The powder I use is from La Vida. So now I'm going in with the Gentle Dove setting powder. The first stage of this application is called setting, while the second stage is actually called baking. Okay, the first stage you have to push it into the skin properly. The second stage is the stage that you have to dust it off, like you put it when you're done applying your eyeshadow, you will not dust it off. So the places you're applying all these powders are the places you applied your concealer. So it's not something you have to be confused about. You can use a brush, you can use a blending foam, whichever one that is suitable for you. After that, I went in with orange shade from my blush palette to give it that warm feel. See, I do not do cream contour. Reasons because I mostly use Nigerian brands for models. But if you're using a foreign brand, you can do a cream contour. So what I do more is a powder contour and a powder blush. Now for the nose, I use a shade that has a yellow undertone, not a very dark shade though, a shade that has a yellow undertone. So this is how I do that. If I use a very dark shade, her face will look too harsh when she goes out in public. But since I use a subtle shade, it will blend properly, like to look so natural. You get. So after that, because I really don't want that shade, the contour line, to be too obvious, I will then go in with my powder to fix it up, like my setting powder, which is the second stage of applying it, which is called baking. Remember, the first stage is called setting, second stage is called baking. So what I was trying to explain, this is it. I'm using it to apply. Remember, the places we're applying the baking powder are still the same places we apply setting powder. It's just like double coating it. So don't just get confused. Just that this baking powder will dust it out after eyeshadow. Now, because I want a dark base, I'm using my lipstick to act as my primer. If I use a primer, my primer will be white. So I'm using a lipstick to act as my primer. Then I will now use a powder. I really love using powder a lot. Powder is multi-purpose, but it blends so well. Then I will now use my powder to blend. You understand? Yes. So because I don't want it to look too reddish, I had to top it up with a darker shade of powder. Now I would be applying the glue, but then I will not be using brush to apply the glue, because most times I use brush to apply the glue, it's very sticky. So I prefer using my hands to apply the glue. You understand? Just a little bit of glue, like a little bit of glue. Then apply your pigments. You don't need to apply too much. You should study someone's eye. Some people have a very small eye, just like this, my friend. So I tend to focus the pigments on the proper side of the eyelid. I wouldn't spread it over. This is one thing you should look out for while working on your client, your model, or even your bride. Because if you spread it too much, the model, the client, or the bride will look too weird. Yes, it will look beautiful, but then it will look too much on the person's eye. That's when you hear that the makeup is heavy. No, it's not really heavy, just that the right amount of proportion of the things that you applied is too much. Okay, now after applying the pigments, I noticed that my hand went into some places. I had to use my brush to dust off excess from it. For the liner, I'll be using a liquid liner from Zaron. See, the truth is that every brand has what they are good at, and I feel like Zaron, when it comes to liner, kaja, and mascara, they are the baba of all babas. Okay, so you should go in with Zaron. The kaja is the one I use under the eye, while the liquid liner is the one I use on top. So don't get confused. After applying eyeshadow, eye pigments, glitters, anything applicable, always sweep off the lashes so that when you apply your lashes, it will look dark. It will not look white under. Sweep it off the kaja and the mascara. So the mascara I'm still using is from Zaron. Okay. Now for the kaja, I had to go in with my brush to apply the kaja. You should use a flat brush for this. I have to bring on my kaja to apply it. So remember what I told you about baking powder, that we're going to sweep it off. That is what I'm doing. We are sweeping it off. After sweeping off, I want to spray the face with my customized fixing spray. I told you earlier on that this is my fixing spray. If I have not told you, okay, I'm telling you now that my fixing spray is mixed with a little bit of sweat block spray. Not just sweat block, a very little bit of sweat block spray from Davila's Cosmetics. They have this sweat block spray I really like, and I just had to use it. So now for the lips, I went in with my regular moisturizer, which is Nia. Now I'm using my concealer as my lip stain. I don't know if you could remember, I mentioned earlier on that I use one thing to improvise for so many things. So I'm mixing my concealer alongside with my lipstick for my lips. So it is self-explanatory. I would want you to just watch, okay? Watch and see how I go about it. is the cream highlights. There is something that shines on the face when you apply it, which is the bronzer. They have the cream one. So I love using the cream one too because it gives you that natural feel before applying the powder. So that is what I'm applying. Now for the brows, I used color 18 to outline and to shade because she has a full brow, so I wouldn't want something that would look too harsh. So I will just follow the pattern of her brows and then fill up the places I feel I need to fill up. Then after that, I conceal the brows.